trade and playing 2 spells a turn, it's really bad.
Gotcha. Another Pyromancer here. That's going to resolve. So now Viashino Pyromancer, Runaway Steamkin, that's a 4/4, and a Fanatical Firebrand Gunman in the red zone. And it looks like Will's probably pretty far ahead this game. I know Brian's got a 5-mana Teferi in his hand, but that's not much of anything, and he's going to concede the game. So Will Pulliam is going to very quickly win game number 1 here over Brian Braun-Duin as Mono Red Aggro does what Mono Red Aggro does. It wins very quickly against Esper Midrange, as we got to prepare for some sideboards here, folks. And we are going to start with the BBD, who's got 2 Basilica Bellhaunts, 2 Davriel Rogue Shadow Mage, 2 Deputy of Detention, along with 2 Dovin's Vetoes, 2 Duress, 2 Moment of Craving, 2 Time Wipe, and an Unmoored Ego. You're a Mono Red player, of course. What do you see over here that you're scared of?
The Moment of Cravings and the Basilica Bellhaunts. Those are the scariest cards. I think the Davriel, the Deputy Detention, the Time Wipes, and the Duresses are all reasonable options. I think Duress is the best of the bunch. But the Moment of Craving and the Bellhaunts are without question coming in.
How good's Bellhaunt against you?
Really good.
Really good?
Really good.
Okay. It is expensive. It's a little hard to cast because of the mana, so sometimes I think maybe they have to take 2 to cast it on turn 4.
It's still, the size of the body, 4 toughness is the magic number. All the pieces of it are really good against you. You don't play against it all that often because it's a pretty narrow sideboard card, but the people that have it, they definitely get their money's worth against Mono Red.
Other side of things here for Will the Thrill Pulliam, it's 4 Lava Coils, 3 Risk Factor, 2 Tibalt Rakish Instigator, 2 Legion Warboss, 2 Rekindling Phoenix, and 2 Direfleet Daredevil already up a game.
So I don't think Risk Factor is acceptable in the matchup. Everything else is legit. I'm not that into Lava Coil because it's not like PvD's creatures are that big. Most of the other burn spells handle it. But the Tibalt, Legion Warboss, Rekindling Phoenix, and Direfleet Daredevil, the creatures are not the easiest for BBD to remove. He plays with a ton of good, cheap spells and his own creatures. So Direfleet Daredevil, flashing back one of BBD's removal spells or discard spells on his own stuff is a real play. And the Tibalt seems very good. The 1/1 tokens are a real thing in the matchup. They trade or at least complicate combat with a lot of BBD's threats. And the ongoing power is good against cards BBD has and cards that you can anticipate that he would board in.
Wow. Those are your options there for both players. Game 1 was over in a flash, so we're going to get ready here for game number 2. And while we do that, we are going to very quickly talk about the Season 2 schedule here of the SCG Tour, which we announced a couple of weeks ago. We got some fun locations and formats here for you, and Mr. Sullivan is going to run them down.
All right, well, we go to Pittsburgh. July will give us Worcester, Philly, and Columbus. August is Richmond and Dallas. September, Syracuse, Legacy Open. We will be there covering that event. Then October, we go to Philadelphia. We'll wait for the next page here, Indianapolis. And then October 19th is the Regional Championship. You can head over to go.starcitygames.com/regionals for more information as we get a little bit closer to that event. The last Open will be in Atlanta, October 26th and 27th. And then one event a month to close out the year, 2 big ones. SCGCon Winter at Roanoke, Virginia, November 14th through the 17th. And then the Players' Championship, also in Roanoke, December 13th through the 15th.
Playmats will be coming out soon for you, let you know what we're working with for season number 2. Of course, we had custom playmats done for the SCG Tour in 2019 season 1. We're going to have some more unique ones for season 2 as well. Some more information coming with that as well. But for these dates and locations, go.starcitygames.com/schedule. As BBD and Will Pulliam are all smiles. They're both very, very close to the elimination rounds. Places that both of these players have been before, and of course will be again for Brian Braun-Duin. He's got plenty of opens here on the SCG Tour top 8s as well as invitational top 8s. Former world champion, just coming off of a top 8 at Mythic Championship 2 in London with humans. And Will Pulliam, well, he won an open last year with Amulet Titan on deck that he is very fond of and is one step closer to another top 8 on his growing resume as a young Magic player with maybe Mono Red Aggro.
Is Pulliam on Experimental Frenzy in the main deck?
I can let you know. You're putting me on the spot. Cardboard Live already knows.
So literally everyone else but me has this information.
And me.
Well, you have the tablet in front of you. So.
I do, but I don't have the deck list in front of me. That's the problem.
All right. Well, he has Risk Factor on the board, so I assume he's playing it in the main. But I wanted to just confirm here.
Yeah. I'll get you there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Eventually. I'm not doing it quickly. Where's your deck, Will? He's got to have it in his main deck, man. 0 for 2. I'm not good at tablets.
This is embarrassing.
I know it is.
The viewers at home cannot see
I'm glad they can't see this because I'm struggling.
So tech savvy, social media guru, just with it, all the new tech. And oh no, I was wrong. It's Chandra.
4 main deck Chandra, Fire Artesian.
Probably better here than Experimental Frenzy.
That means no frenzies anywhere? Wow. It's a little surprising.
Well, Chandra is. So the costs to me are much. Experimental Frenzy in the mirror and against mono white is absolutely busted. Best card by a mile. Chandra is a lot better against Esper,
which I think matters a lot.
It's just because of Mortify. That's the inflection point.
Here we go. Watergrave tap there for Brian. For Will to mount no 1-drop. It's a Godless Shrine there for Brian. Then enters the battlefield tapped. We're heading back over to Will. He's got a mountain. He got a 2-drop? Got a 1-drop. View-to Lava Runner. I wonder if that was his draw step. Still got it. I can figure out people's draw steps.
You have to ask your opponent, did you top deck that?
Always. Or if I'm the opponent, I preemptively said had it. Moment of Craving, killed it. Gain 2 life, BBD. And another Godless Shrine enters the battlefield tapped. We're heading back over to Will. All right, that's gone for good. That's not exciting, though. No 3rd land drop. Still very far away from Chandra if it's in hand. And Brian's going to start casting some haymakers now. Going to start it off with Basilica Bellhaunt. This is not fun to play against.
I don't know. It's fun for someone.
Risk factor in the graveyard. See, that's like kind of drawing a card.
Yeah, I'm not super into bringing in risk factor against the 27 life gain spell deck, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
It's a good discard, at least.
here's the Chain Whirler. It's a good discard. It's nice. So positive.
You get it back later.
Yeah, you're so positive.
You know, every spell that BBC plays this game is going to gain life.
I want Brian to attack so bad. Brian's got to Spark, Hero, Teferis, Plural. I'm just going to pass the turn back after playing the Hero. Lava Coil. Take that. Basilica Bellhaunt, you big jerk. Gone forever. Now clear for takeoff. Take 5. Brian's down to 19. Light up the stage, maybe? All right.
It's a nice looking turn.
Will's working himself back into this one. Top couple of cards. Gate 2 Lava Runner, Mountain. He hasn't played a land yet this turn. So there's that. Thinking about playing the Lava Runner, but also has to be a little bit wary because Brian has access to Time Wipe in his sideboard, so not going to do it.
Yeah, right there you got to make a call between being mana efficient and then potentially exposing yourself to a sweeper.
Not the easiest of decisions.
Well, especially when Pulliam missed his 3rd land drop, so his hand's got to be a little bottlenecked on mana almost no matter what. But still decides to play it a little passively.
Brian just going to pass the turn back with 4 mana open. Got to be a little worried about that if you're Pulliam. Brian does have Mortify.
Usually in this spot, it means they can kill one thing. So you care about that or you don't, but that's what's going on.
Again, Brian with 2 Time Wipe in the board. Beatdowns. Lava Runner is 2 power attacker. Brian gonna block there. before damage. It'll be a Mortify. Take care of the Chain Whirler. That means Brian will get to make a 1/1 from the hero. First strike damage, take 2. And it looks like the Lava Runner and the hero will trade. That's a pretty favorable exchange for a BBD, I think. But it depends on what Will's follow-up is, which is a Chain Whirler. So that'll clear away the token.
Good turn for both players.
Yeah, I think so.
Everyone's satisfied.
Yep.
Some stuff happened.
Let's go back to Brian.
So the big thing here for BBD, if there's an issue in the matchup and the way the games play out, it's really hard for him to play multiple spells in a turn. Most of the time, he's just able to respond to one thing, and Pulliam's able to do 2 things in a turn. And BBD doesn't really have a way like Kaya's Wrath of playing catch up to sort of come back from that tempo deficit.
Yeah, the best he can do is time wipe, but that's expensive.
Just that turn last turn where Pulliam did 2 things. And BBD played a Mortify is sort of emblematic of the way the game goes a lot of the time.
That play a little surprising there from Will, because he does have a Chain Whirler in his hand. Chain Whirler could have finished off Teferi, but looking to go towards Chandra instead.
Yeah, this is a good spot to try to resolve your Chandra, I think. You play a little inefficiently, but...
In the face of 2 mana? Dovin's Veto, negate, stuff like that?
I don't buy it.
Neither did he.
Okay.
Despark going to take care of Chandra.
That's really... that makes it much worse.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And that is.
And that is.
And 5 mana Teferi. Ever heard of it? Untap 2 lands. This is a Gear 2 Lava Runner. All right. Removal spell. Timely. Moment of Craving. Very good here.
Yep. Find out here if Pulliam has the resources to finish off that Teferi.
Gotta kill it.
Can we play on?
Yeah. Gotta kill this thing. I think there's a Lightning Strike in hand. Runaway Steamkin. Following this up with a Lightning Strike would be a pretty good turn. All right, that's good.
Yep. Okay. We play on.
Another set of good turns for each player. Runaway Steamkin into a 2/2 now, along with the Gear 2 Lava Runner that's also a 2-power creature. So we head back over to BBD. And that is a hero of Precinct 1. This is a Thought Eraser to take your Chain Whirler, most likely. Yeah. Make a 1/1, Surveil, put a Isolated Chaplain in the graveyard, leave Will with a Viashino Pyromancer, pass the turn back. Pulliam will untap all 5 of those lands and draw a card.
So no matter what the draw step here is, Pulliam at least has the out of play my Viashino Pyromancer and jumpstart the risk factor in the graveyard.
Which isn't bad.
Not a bad turn.
That's the floor.
It's at least a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm. Pyromancer resolves. Light up the stage is pretty good too. Take a look at the top couple. Chandra, Direfleet Daredevil. Okay. Where does this get us?
Yeah, so, interesting here that he can play the Direfleet Daredevil, get the trigger from the Steamkin, and get 3 mana that way, and still be able to cast the Chandra the following turn. So I believe if he wants to, he can Direfleet Daredevil, get the Mortify the Captain. I don't know if there's a cheaper removal spell down there. It doesn't really matter. I mean,
there's a moment of craving.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Moment of craving. Get that out of the graveyard. Whatever.
There's also a Thought Eraser if you want to go after Brian's hand.
That's the time. Like Direfleet Daredevil has to resolve, right? It's not a cast trigger.
Oh no, it has to resolve. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you get the token, you get the mana from the Runaway Steamkin, and then you can play whatever.
Mm-hmm. He's got he can cash in the 3 mana from Runaway Steamkin right now. So have 3 red mana. He's got access to 5 red mana on the surface right now. So there's Direfleet. Trigger. Get that counter back on the Steamkin. Now the question is, what do you target in the graveyard? Is it Mortify? Is it Moment of Craving? Is it Thought Eraser? It's definitely not Dispark.
I mean, if BBD is running out of cards here, then
it is Thought Eraser. You don't mind what?
Leading with the discard spell here.
Okay. Deputy of Detention and Mortify are the cards. Surveil from the Thought Scour. Brian reminding Will of that.
And if BBD wants to trade, 2-2 here for one of the 2-2s. Will's happy, and if BBD wants to take 4, that's fine by Will as well.
Mm-hmm. So another good turn for Will Pulliam. Brian with a Mortify in hand, and he'll draw a card. Again, Will's been thinking about and playing around to the best of his ability. Various Wrath effects. I think did Brian just draw Enter the God Eternals? Because that's a really good card. Yeah, he did.
That's a big one.
Yikes! Super fun! And Brian's going to mill 4 cards over. He's going to gain 4 life. He's going to make 4/4 zombie army. And Will's going to lose his runaway steam. Good draw, BBD. As we're going to head back over to Will, who's got a big play of his own. Not sure if it's as good. But he's going to try with Chandra, revealing a mountain. Mountain will enter the battlefield.
I mean, Will's position here is not that bad, all told. The 4/4 is problematic, though, because of the Mortify. It's really hard for Pulliam to put together blocks to manage. But Chandra gives some hope. Being able to keep up on cards. You know, you're drawing 2 a turn to BBD's 1.
It's going to be tough, man. Chandra's got to work overtime. It's not like Experimental Frenzy, but Experimental Frenzy would die right now.
Right.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, no, but that's, you know, if you want to play Chandra instead of Experimental Frenzy, is literally for black-white decks. Mm-hmm. That's the major reason. But it's not like BBD is really in a position here to attack the Chandra. He can't effectively kill Chandra, and the act of removing some but not all loyalty is really bad because of the passive. And if Pulliam's drawing 2 cards a turn, you can say, okay, well, I'll chump block the 4/4 and hope to eventually get to 2 cards that take care of it.
So Mortify there to take care of the Dire Fleet Daredevil. Brian looking to get maybe a little bit more aggressive now to work on Chandra. And we'll see how Will wants to block here in just a moment. But while Will, our mono-red player in this future match, works on that, our other mono-red players in Collins Mullen and Ethan Gajewski have both won this round. They are both 12-2 through 14 rounds, which means a draw should be clear for takeoff. So for you mono-red fans out there, for you Ethan Gajewski fans, and your Collins Mullen fans, top 8, top 8. Top 8's great. Mono red still looking to be a pretty good option. A double block here. So, able to get rid of the 4/4. And Brian will pass the turn back. Let's see what Chandra can do. It's got to be pretty good, folks. Chain Whirler would be a great start as there's a mountain.
Even a shock here would be great.
Just to kill the hero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any blocker, like really any spell here is going to play.
Legion Warboss?
Not that. That's like the worst one. That's the one bad one. It's at least something. It's a blocker. It's something.
Attack you. Block. Okay, that's
a great turn.
That's not bad at all.
Great turn.
Yeah. All right, back to Brian. Haymakers back and forth between these two players. Thought Brian might start to take the lead there with that Enter the God Eternals, but Will is fighting back. And that Chandra is still on the battlefield. Now Brian has a copy of Hostage Taker in hand, so he's not giving up.
I mean, you can Hostage Taker the Rekindling Phoenix, hope to fade a couple cards off of Pulliam's deck, and then cast the Rekindling Phoenix the next turn. That's not bad. he doesn't have enough mana to take the Legion War Boss and cast all at once here. So if you're going to take something, it might as well be the better of the two, give you the upside of getting that off the battlefield, and also the hope that maybe Will can't kill the next turn.
There is a string of cards here that Will can put together. I mean, Chain Whirler is a great start. Killing Hostage Taker, killing Hero. You know, this could end up being a really big turn. Light up the stage.
Yeah, there's a bunch of huge hits.
Beatdowns. What are we blocking, Patrick? 1-1 or 2-2? You got no cards in your hand. You're working with perfect info.
The 2-2. I think I'm walking the 2-2 here.
He'll block the 1-1. We'll see if this will come back to bite him or not. Will draw. Plus the Chandra. See how we do. Mountain's not ideal. Gets to play that. He didn't get a great look at what he drew, but he's going to make a Goblin and attack with the Legion War Boss too. Mentor there.
So the justification for this attack would be, so one justification is Goblin Chain Whirler.
Yep.
I don't think PBD can really play around that because it's going to be too bad no matter what.
Okay.
The other is Shock, and Pulliam basically saying, I'm willing to trade either one of these things to kill your Hostage Taker along with the Shock.
Of course, Hostage Taker being a 2-3 in this scenario versus
Right.
two creatures that are 2/2s.
So then the question becomes, well, if I believe Pulliam drew Shock here, what's the cost of going to 6? Effective 6, because you take 4 and the Shock's still in hand. Plus the Chandra's going to deal some damage. So there you go.
Yep. So good no block there by Brian.
Well,
Hostage Taker.
that block was great because Pulliam could have pre-combat that, but was really trying to get the Hostage Taker. So BBD got a chump block he otherwise wouldn't have been able to get.
Yep.
So heads up play, but Pulliam's still with a great draw step, and BBD's in trouble.
Rekindling Phoenix will be played off the Hostage Taker now, so that big bird belongs to Brian now. Hollow Fountain tapped. We're going to head back over to Pulliam, who still has a Chandra going here. You can see the difference between Chandra and Experimental Frenzy right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite as powerful, but it's in play, and Experimental Frenzy would not have been.
Legion War Boss. Lava Coil. Boy, that's huge.
Perfect draw.
That is huge there for Will Pulliam. Make a Goblin. Actually, let's make 2 of them. Pardon me. 2 Legion War Bosses out here. Might be time to get busy.
It's not like PBD can attack back very effectively, so even if you lose a Goblin or even a Legion War Boss, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, if you make the straight-up blocks of Hostage Taker in front of Legion War Boss and 2-2 in front of 1-1, you fall to 2 against a Chandra. Very hard to wiggle your way out of that.
Mono Red looking good. If Will Pulliam wins this game, that's 3 Mono Red in top 8?
Confirmed, yeah.
Yeah. Mono Red looking good. And for you Simic Nexus fans out there, most played deck in day number 2 of competition, it's not like that's a good matchup. So things are getting a little interesting here in Richmond.
And now, have you considered the risk factor from the Bell Haunt ages ago, still down there?
Oh, I forgot, but you didn't. Red Mage over here. Brian reaching for mana already.
I mean, it's Enter the God Eternals, right? That's the draw that maybe lets you play on from here.
That or T-Wipe.
I don't think that's going to be good enough in the face of the Chandra.
Well, that's step 1.
Yep.
That's not bad. You got to kill that. Try to kill the Chandra, right? Because you get a 4/4 from this too. Mill 4. Yeah, you get 4/4. You get a 1/1. You can finish off Chandra now with Hostage Taker and Hero of Precinct 1 if you want to, even though it's a little bit risky.
Well, the passive knocks you down pretty low, right?
Oh, right. You try to kill that, you get...
Yeah,
right,
yeah. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. Right. That's why Chandra's super good. I'm an idiot. The passive is great on that card. Runaway Steam Kid. Yep, Will didn't forget about the risk factor that's down there. That'll trigger the Steam Kit and make Brian make a real decision. Yeah, you just can't kill Chandra now. That's a fun design, actually. I like that design.
I can't really imagine what BBD's path here is if he goes to 2. We'll see.
Does he need to just say, Will, draw 3 cards? I hope you draw a bunch of lands? Well, he went to 2.
He went to 2.
This means he can never get Chandra off the battlefield.
Well, he needs something like Vraska's Contempt.
Yeah.
He can't attack it, though.
Nope.
He's just playing through it now.
Drawn Catacomb, singular.
Catacomb.
Yeah, Catacomb. Risk, oh boy. I would draw 4. I'll draw 3. Strike you. The game. Will Pulliam going to win this match over Braun-Duin 2-0. Mono red aggro going to take care of Esper mid-range. And that means that Will Pulliam, Collins Mullen, and the Patrick Sullivan avatar himself, Ethan Gajewski, all into top 8, it appears, with mono red.
And Pulliam, they're able to beat a Basilica Bell Haunt and 2 copies of Enter the God Eternals.
That's notable.
So a few things that permitted that to happen. The big one was Chandra, which BBD was not able to really get to, and just too many cards.
Yep.
And the other was just too many non-impactful cards on BBD's side. He has little creatures that die. He has removal spells that aren't very good. How you lose the game ultimately to Esper control involves Kaya's Wrath.
Yep.
And then from there, you're out of stuff. Now we're each playing 1 spell a turn, and your spell is a lot better than mine.
Yep.
BBD never got to that point.
Yep.
He had to kind of grind through everything, and was not able to really stick a significant source of card advantage, and Pulliam was. And in spite of BBD gaining a lot of life, the game just dragged out, and Will's card advantage was a lot better.
And it was a lot better. And that's the difference, right, between Frenzy and Risk Factor and Chandra. They all kind of fulfill the weird kind of same role of card advantage engines for red, but they all do it in various different ways. And this is no mistake here by Will Pulliam. He's playing 4 copies of Chandra in his main deck. He's got some very strong thoughts about that card, obviously. And it's coming to fruition. He's 12-2. He's making the top 8.
Yes, so congratulations, and at least 3 mono reds later this afternoon.
Quick break. Time shifted match coming in 3 minutes. We are back. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan getting ready for our time-shifted match here in round number 14 of SCG Richmond. Don't forget, Brian Gottlieb, Jerry Thompson, they're coming in for the next round and take us through our final round of the Swiss. They'll probably do our quarterfinals as well. But for now, we want to get our eyes on our time-shifted match. So let's head down that way. We're going to watch Jonathan Hobbs against Harlan Fear mid-match. It's Bant Flash versus Bant mid-range.
Okay.
We're going with Bant mid.
Bant mid.
For this one. Maybe the range will fill in later. I don't know. Either way, Hobbs' flash deck has been tricky all weekend. And this is a Vivian. Your favorite card.
Shows up, does nothing, dies. All my favorites. No, you know, it's good. There's just a lot of competition.
That's nice. No, you know, it's good.
Yeah, no, it's good. There's just a lot of competition. A lot of competition.
Both these players playing with Frilled Mystic.
It's a powerful one.
I like it as a card. I think it will be key in this format because it's a creature and not a spell. I think that's going to help a lot. But I do wonder.
It's also just you got to be able to attack planeswalkers. That's got to be part. Yeah. That's got to be part of what you're doing.
I do wonder if being green is a hindrance because it's unclear how good of a color green is in this format right now. It's early. We're in week 1, round 14, but you know we got to get a better idea of how good green is.
I like Llanowar Elves.
I know you do.
I'm into that card.
But if your Llanowar, I mean, it's when your deck. How good is your deck when you have Llanowar Elves as opposed to when you don't? That's a question. Yeah, you're not going to have it every game.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think it's important to still keep the curve relatively low.
Sure.
You know, Legion Warboss can be fine on turn 3. It's really good on turn 2. I think you got to find cards like that.
We got a brief judge call here at the 45-minute mark. Should be pretty short though. And now there is Teferi, Time Reveler. Harlan's still waiting patiently here. All right, Frilled Mystic. Frilled Mystic, you back. So Teferi's in. Hobbs with a big Hydroid Krasis. That's just the card that, like, just feel like we just haven't seen very much of, that I feel like we should be seeing more of.
Well, Hobbs has been putting in work on camera with it.
That's true. Harlan going to play a Hallowed Fountain untapped. Take a look at the card that's underneath Vivian. Tap a bunch of mana. Play God Eternal Oketra, which is a 3/6 double striker. When you play a creature, you get to make a 4/4. That's yep.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. This game's changed.
Yep. Although we've seen Hobbs come back from some absolutely wild spots, so.
And Hobbs' deck is really well. Okay, that's a start. Deputy Detention going to take care of the tokens. I mean, Hobbs' deck is also strange. Going to kill the Vivian, plus the Teferi, pass the turn back. Hobbs also has copies of Settled Wreckage in his deck, so creatures aren't the end-all, be-all against him. And Settle the Wreckage, again, is just a card that no one is playing around right now. Nobody.
It went from ubiquitous to not played very quickly.
Yeah. Growth Chamber Guardian here for Harlan. He'll play that, adapt it right away, and get himself another copy of the 2/2. That can become a 4/4.
And Harlan here with plenty of leftovers. Oh. In the event of some sort of sweeper here.
Angel of Grace there from Hobbs.
I mean, he's got Harlan on a one-turner here.
Harlan's got a lot of. Yep, there's the settle. Yep, see.
It just wormed.
You can't win. You can't win. You can't. Yeah.
Just wormed his way out again. What is going on here?
His games are really strange.
Yeah.
That's because his deck is so weird.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Harlan's at 16. He's got 30 power on the battlefield, and Hobbs is no cards in hand, and Hobbs is like, all right, flash into 5 power flyer. Now you're on a 2-turn clock. Settle you out. Done.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing.
It continues to be nothing for him as far as I'm concerned. It's funny, too, because, like, I don't know how good this deck is if your opponent knows exactly what your deck list is. He top-8 Indianapolis in January, and then the deck did nothing. And he switched decks.
Yep.
He stopped playing the deck. So I think it's kind of interesting that he just went back to it for another release weekend and might just be cashing in right now, and it might not be good again after this. I had no idea, but Settle the Wreckage is a card that no one is playing around this weekend.
And I'm guessing Harlan's deck is not very good against it.
No, it can't be.
Just a lot of big, chunky creatures. And
Hobbs was pretty far up on the leaderboard, kind of in the beginning of the season. Has unfortunately for him slid his way down a little bit. And then Harlan's kind of hanging around outside of the top 16. But both these players have had success on the SCG Tour circuit. Get a better look at this Bant mid-range deck that Harlan's playing here. He was really into this deck coming into the weekend. He's got a lot of creatures, unsurprisingly, to go along with his Teferi Time Revelers, and he's playing 4 Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. So he's super into this card. He's super into God Eternal Oketra, which he has 3 copies of, and then 2 Shall I, Voice of Plenty, which conveniently does beat Settle the Wreckage. So that matters. Sideboard, he's got a Deputy of Detention, a Knight of Autumn, 3 Baffling Ends, 2 Disdainful Strokes, 2 Dovin's Veto, 2 Lyra Dawnbringer, 2 Vivian Reed, 2 Time Wipe. So a pretty diversified sideboard for a Bant deck.
I like the Deputy of Detention here, but I wouldn't be messing around with too much of the stuff. The reactive card, I know I've been repeating myself a lot on this, but the reactive cards, the play only on the opposing turn cards against decks with Teferi, I'm not into it.
Well, I think it's pretty important to drive that point home, even though you've been mentioning it a lot this weekend, because I think that's a real thing. I do. Where it warps gameplay so much that you have to lean into the fact that it warps things so much and change what you're doing. That effect on a Planeswalker is really good. I remember it on old 5-mana Teferi and how good it was.
Yeah.
The 3/4 from, what was that, Time Spiral?
Time Spiral. But just the terminates and counter spells were so much better back then. But yeah, I mean, that effect was extremely good. And you couldn't attack Teferi down.
Yeah, it's true. Llanowar Elves to start here for Harlan. Hollowed Fountain into Incubation Druid and an attack for 1. So he's got a little bit of mana acceleration, and we'll see what he's able to accelerate into as we head back over to Jay Hobbs, who's got just a lone Temple Garden at the moment. And now a Baffling End to take care of the Incubation Druid. Baffling End, of course, exiles, and if you remove the Baffling End, you'll get a 3/3 dinosaur, not your creature back, a la Oblivion Ring and so many others. Hydroid Krasis here for 2. Means that Harlan Fear will gain a life and draw a card. We'll head back over to Mr. Hobbs. And Shaw. You ready for that movie?
What movie?
Yeah, I knew it. You disgust me.
What movie?
Hobbs and Shaw.
I have no idea what that is.
I know. It is Hobbs is The Rock. Shaw is Jason Statham. These are fast. This is a Fast and Furious spin-off.
Okay.
So are we going day 1, or what are we doing?
We live in very different cities.
I would come to Denver to watch that with you, because you would hate it so much.
Okay.
The whole time you would be mad.
So I don't really know who the people are who you just rattled off. I know The Rock.
Jason Statham?
No.
Really?
I recognize that as the name of a famous person.
English? I think he's English actor. Yeah, English actor.
There's a lot of those.
That doesn't help that much.
Doesn't help that much.
He's like an action hero.
Okay.
Do you know who Idris Elba is?
He was in The Wire, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He's the bad guy.
That's Stringer Bell, right?
That sounds right to me, yeah.
Okay, then
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Those are your 3 main people. If that's not getting your ticket, nothing is.
I don't know if that's true because I have paid money to go see other movies without those people winning.
Harlan a little behind in this game, but he's going to take care of the Teferi Time Raffler. Growth Chamber Guardians, plural, Llanowar Elves, and we'll go back over to Jay Hobbs. Deputy Detention appears to be the draw step. Here come Couple of creatures. That is a Time Warp. Pick up Hero of Precinct 1. It would make a token. Time Warp will wipe away the token, and Hobbs will pass the turn back with 2 mana, which leads me to believe he has some sort of counter spell that cannot counter that. Hero of Precinct 1. Growth Spiral. Make a token. Play a land. What is this? Deputy Attention. Take care of the Oketra. Pass the turn back. Not a bad exchange. Deputy Attention. Kill that. Get this back. Follow up. Creature. Make a bigger creature. Your turn. Hobbs is out of cards. Growth Chamber Guardian and the creature Oketra Maid will attack. I want to make sure I know exactly what Oketra makes here, folks. That's a new one. They are 4/4 black zombie warrior creature tokens with vigilance, because I guess it's a white god making.
If you want to make zombies off of a mono white card, you kind of got to give it at least some sort of white
You gotta give 'em a
keyword.
vigilance thing.
Yeah, something. Otherwise, how is the card white at all?
I think lifelink would be a little lame though. Maybe.
Well, it's just so. I don't think the game's very interesting to play once you have a million lifelinkers.
Yeah, sure.
Like, something that's nice about Oketra is, obviously it's overwhelming. There's tons of spots where it shows up and you're just dead, especially in draft. But it's like, no, your flyer's good. If you have a flyer, if you have a flyer, you can keep going. It doesn't block the creature with flying, and it's not like the life they're getting is going to invalidate your flyer either. You can actually play through it.
Should your flyer be good when Oketra in the picture has a picture of a bow and arrow?
Different question.
Should your flyer be good then? Maybe Oketra should have flying and not double strike. What do you think about that? I'm pretty sure that's a bow and arrow in the picture of Oketra, by the way. I'm pretty confident in that. Yeah. Gonna have to get a flavor judge in here. Where's Ben? Is Ben Stark still here? He's a flavor judge.
I'm gonna build Will Pulliam's list back in the room once I'm done with the league I'm in.
You got a lot of mono red to choose from after this.
I know.
Weekend.
I gotta finish up my league and then I can rebuild the deck.
Still 2-0.
3-1.
Oh, ooh, got 2 games in, huh?
During my break, yeah, I got through. I lost a very close one to Esper. Probably sideboarded bad.
Brought in the Cinder Vines. I get it.
I don't have any green mana in my deck. And then I won against a Jund aggro deck.
What's in a Jund aggro deck?
The problem for my opponent was Blood Crypt and Overgrown Tomb.
Those deal too?
Those were part of my opponent's deck. The cards that I saw were Growth Chamber Guardian, the Slipfire Walker, the new red flag.
Dreadhorde Butcher.
Yeah, Dreadhorde Butcher. The 1/3 that when it attacks you can replay a spell with cost equal to or less than its power.
Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah, my opponent comboed that card with Shock.
That's tough.
Gruul Spellbreaker was in there.
Okay, that's big-ish.
And that was kind of it.
And then they died, is what it sounds like to me.
They did die.
Yeah. That's what I'm gathering from this conversation is your opponent died. Good on ya.
Yeah.
Good on you, Mono Red Mage.
So that was great.
Game 3. Jonathan Hobbs, Harlan Fear, both 10-3. Winner of this moves on to 11-3. And with a win the following round, in round 15, which Brian G. and Jerry T will be bringing to you, could, with good breakers, make top 8, but not a guarantee.
But 3-1 that's the sixth sweat in the league. Because that gap in prizes is intense.
Tell the truth, have you ever 5-0 league before?
I have.
No.
They don't post my deck lists. I don't know if I'm blackballed or something.
No.
But I don't know.
No one's ever 5-0 league.
Yeah, I know.
No one. A lot of